Let me have the privilege to invite our panelists. So as I take the name, request them to please come over. He is a transformation leader in the flexo print and packaging industry with over 3 decades of experience. This gentleman is with Parakh Agro for almost 20 years, and he is recognized for advising on and implementing large-scale transformation, veteran with a demonstrated excellence in greenfield projects, trusted business advisor. He is confident of empowering organizations across industries with techno-commercial solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Vinay Nalawade, Director, Parakh Agro Industries. Welcome himself. Everybody, please, music, please, little louder, please. Come on. Little more claps also. Welcome, sir. Please come. Here you are. Our next speaker in this discussion is, under his leadership, Multitec has become a global force, exporting to 47 countries, perhaps 50 also now, isn't it? Renowned for pioneering high automation, from steering Multitec's pivot from offset to flexo for labels in 2001, to leading its evolution from labels to flexible packaging. Known for his ears to the ground approach and relentless focus on innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the CEO of Multitec Aids Private Limited, Mr. Amit Ahuja. Amit, please. Let's welcome. Music a little louder, please, when the guest is coming. Yeah, please. Our next panel member is a person who is the area sales manager of Asia Pacific region at SOMA. Over 10 years of experience, a true CI flexo enthusiast. Currently responsible for managing and expanding SOMA's presence across the Asia Pacific market. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Roman Dresler, Area Sales Manager, Asia Pacific, SOMA. Welcome, Roman. Good to have you. Fantastic. Good afternoon to you, please. Please take a seat. We have the next speaker. Regional Sales Manager at Sandon Global for territories of India, Middle East and Africa. He has experience of manufacturing in flexible packaging coupled with his sales role. Along with Sandon Global team, he feels proud to have a warm acceptability of Sandon Global in Indian market. Ladies and gentlemen, Tinku Sharma, Sales Manager, Sandon Global Engraving Technology. Please, Tinku, please come. Music a little louder, please. More music. Come on. Gentleman is a veteran in inks for flexible packaging, both gravures and flexography. He began his career as a lab technician, but he has risen to become the product and applications manager in Northern Europe with Flint Group. A key focus has been supporting customers in future-proofing their operations with sustainability codes. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Richard Birch. Richard Birch. Please welcome Richard. Welcome, Richard. Please take your seat. And the next one is the person who has perhaps introduced CI Flexo, first time in South India, and he has also got the award of Asia Flexo Technical Association. He is the Managing Director of Multiflex Polybag, Mr. Rajendra Mehta. Please come, Rajendra Mehta. Welcome, please. Come this way. Ladies and gentlemen, celebrate. Please celebrate. More clappings, please, for everybody. Please, sir. Now, where is the moderator, by the way? I'm not finding. Where is Suhas? Suhas, you are missing. How can... Anyways, he is a seasoned leader with over 3 decades of experience, currently serving the country as country head and director South Asia at SOMA. He is focusing on delivering an initiative to enhance profitability, known for his collaborative leadership style. Yes, where is Suhas? Where is Suhas? Where are you?
Can you hear me?
Suhas, Mr. Suhas.
Can you hear
Mr.
me?
Suhas.
Can you hear
Can
me?
anybody find me? Help me finding
Can you
him.
hear me?
I
Can
oh,
hear me?
yeah. Please,
I'm here. I'm
welcome
here.
Suhas, please. Please
you.
put your hand together for Suhas.
Thank you.
Suhas.
Thank you.
Please come, sir.
Thank you.
I was getting nervous. Where is the moderator? Thank you so much. Thanks.
I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vinay.
Please.
Thank you so much. Look at this. Look at this great delegation that we have here, the participants. We have over 150 years of experience. I know somebody said just now, number of experience doesn't count. But if you put all that experience into AI, you're going to get somebody who is going to be the best in flexo industry. What do you say to that, right? And that's why we got this crazy looking person here, and we called him Hopscotch. So when we designed this mascot for this Flexo Summit, we wanted to have a mascot which was thinking out of the box. And therefore, we designed this mascot called the Hopscotch. Do you know what this hopscotch means, by the way? It's actually a frog. Can you see the frog? And how many of you here have heard the word Kupamandak? Kupamandak. Kupamandak. Frog in the well. Frog in the well. And we've got this frog now out of the well.
Wow.
And guess what we've given him?
Fantastic.
Thank you, Anand. And guess what we've given him? A new pair of glasses. We've given him a new pair of glasses. And we brought him now to Jaipur, and he's in Jaipur, here, Raju Bhai. And in Jaipur, when you come, what do you say? You call them, and you invite them, and in the local language, in Marwadi, you say, Pehle darwaza, fir vyapar. So we are going to talk about business. We are going to talk about business. And this session, ladies and gentlemen, is about profitability. We spoke about possibilities yesterday. Today, we're going to talk about profitability and how can we make a profitable decision and how can we make flexography more profitable, right? This is profitable. And when we talk about profitability in the local language, we say, Pehla darwaza, fir vyapar. And in English, it means first you look at the door and then the business. So this is hopscotch in Jaipur. So the most important thing is when we start a business, you establish a connection. And when you start the connection, you need to connect with yourself. So before we go there, we have this esteemed panel. The theme of this panel discussion is how to get wiser when you go wider. And what does that mean? When we are printing, we are using different widths of printing presses. And let me say, it can be different presses as well. It can be digital, it can be gravure, it can be offset. But today, we're going to talk about different widths of flexographic printing, right? And that's where we are trying to understand how do we choose which width is the best one and how can we choose the right model for us, right? It's a tough question, not easy to answer, and we have a lot of people here. How many of you here are converters? How many of you are here printers? Great, thank you so much, and thank you so much for coming. And I know there are some of the people who are a little shy, and you probably want to invest in a flexo press and need to understand a little bit more about how can I invest. So in the flexographic industry, we have various widths of presses. We have an esteemed panel here, starting from people who have experienced narrow web, wide web, and also mid web. So I'll start with Mr. Amit Ahuja. Amit Ahuja, of course, you know, is the leader at Multitec and also makes one of the best presses for flexographic printing, which has inline, narrow web, and mid web. So Amit, in your view, what is the biggest misconception of flexo today in the world?
Thank you, everybody. And what a rock star entry, Suhas. That's the way to go.
Thank you.
Okay, so misconception about flexo is that flexo was considered an art. But believe me, as you go wider, it's the science part that matters more. The art comes at the end. If you've got your science wrong, everything falls apart. And I think people have been treating it as an art far too long. I think that is the biggest misconception of flexo. Everybody thinks, okay, Gupta ji is doing this, Sharma ji will do this, it'll all work. No, if you break it down to right chunks with the right science behind it, I'm a student of science. So if you break it down to right chunks with the right science, there is no way it can fail.
Right.
And this is the biggest misconception that, we can do everything the way it was being done before. So when you increase widths, we're talking about profitability. And one of the LinkedIn posts also said that your presses got wider, but your money didn't get more, right? You didn't get wiser. Why? Because you thought the thing that works for narrow web will work for mid. What worked for mid, I am not in wide, but I have friends like you who advise me, will work in wide. And that's absolutely wrong. I think that is the thing that we need to be cognizant about.
Sure, thank you so much. And that's a great story, right? But that's a great understanding of how to understand where do we go and what is the big misconception that we have. Before we move forward, and he spoke about understanding the business and understanding the connect. And we also made the introduction of hopscotch saying you establish a connection before making a business transaction. And before doing that, I want to establish a connection with you. How many of you here have heard the word ikigai? Ikigai, it's a Japanese word. By the way, it's a Japanese word, ikigai. You know what ikigai means? And this is ikigai, right? So there are some things that you love, and there are some things that you're good at. And when you're good at something and you love that, that's passion. But then there is a realistic world waiting for you to make you work, and you get paid for it, right? And therefore, there is something between what you love and what the world needs, and that becomes your mission, and you start working towards that. And then there is also between what the world needs and what you can get paid for is profession or vocation, as we call it. But the sweet spot there, right in between, is ikigai. We are going to discover the ikigai of flexo here today. Okay? So thank you for that, Amit. So I'll now come to Vinay. Vinay, you've been through a fantastic long journey. Vinay, by the way, has led operations, and he has been a converter all his life. So if you need to talk about operational excellence in the real practical world, it's him. You need to talk to him. Vinay, you've been through operational, right through narrow web, mid web, even offset. And then you moved into wide web flexo, right? And in your thoughts, in your mind, how would you say the journey has been, and what would you want to share with the audience about what is the misconception of flexo?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for getting me here. Yeah, you were right. I've seen the narrows and the mids and the widers. I think every business is sensitive to what product they are into in printing. Having seen most of the businesses very closely, right from the greenfield up to the profit maximization stage. A decision of wider or decision of flexo to begin with starts with is that product viable enough to be made on flexo, number one. And if it is to be made on flexo, whether it is a small quantum or a large quantum, because wider has its own benefits, merits, top lines. So all that is there, but I would say wider makes it more difficult for one to scratch his brain and get his house right. Because more the wider, more the profits And also, if you don't get it right, more the losses. Yeah, so one has to really get wise, and that's why the word is wider, wise, and profit. So huge profit if you do it right. Yeah, that's what I could say so.
Thank you, Vinay, and thank you for that. So when we were talking about this last evening over a few glasses of warm water and the other kind of liquids that we had, we were wondering how can we walk through this space and what are the points that we can talk about. And some of these points we spoke about was why Flexo. And I think a lot of our discussion this morning and also yesterday afternoon was on why Flexo. So I don't think we need to get there. But I think what is more important in what Vinay just said is what is the right technology fit for you. But that technology fit is very important to understand what is your market positioning and where are you? Where are you, right? What is your ikigai? Where are you performing, right? And then we want to talk about what are the profitability drivers. So then I will come to the mid-web. Mr. Rajubai here has been one of the first converters in South India to embrace Flexo. He has both a wide web and a mid-web Flexo as well, and he's been through the entire journey of Flexo as well. Rajubai, in your mind, when is the right time for you to go towards Flexo, and what is the right time you choose between wide web and the mid-web, and your thoughts around it, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really sorry about my sore throat. I've got some infection for the last 7 days. But yes, our whole life of business, we were into Flexo. And the first choice from the beginning was pure Flexo printing. So from narrow web, we straight away went into wide web because that's where the market is and that's where the profit is. It was a very wise choice because the kind of market what we wanted to cater, we could not explore ourselves with a narrow web segment. So we straight away went into wider width, and we could do all sort of jobs what we wanted to do. And the demand of the market is as such that more number of SKUs, more number of widths, the bigger the width, the better the profits, is what we thought. And that's how we went into straight from a narrow web, stack Flexo, to straight away into a wider web, a CF Flexo printing. That gave us a good profitability, number one. Of course, there are a lot of challenges into that.
Sure.
Managing a wide web straight from narrow web, we faced a lot of challenges. But yes, of course, through the time, it passes, it gives you a lot of experience. And then we came into mid-segment, mid-range of Flexo printing, which complemented our wide web. And we had a wide spectrum of market to cater, and we could cater all our needs. Basically, the customers need, whatever they wanted, we were able to give it them on time every day.
Sure.
So that's why wider the more the wider, your profits are more wider. This is according to me.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for your insight, Rajubai. We call him sweetly Rajubai, Mr. Rajendra Mehta. And so I'll come back to you, Amit. The reason why I wanted to come back to you is earlier yesterday and this afternoon, we heard two words which were really striking for me. We have spoken about long runs, medium runs, and short runs. And there was a time in the last few years I was very familiar with a word called short runs. But yesterday, if you would have seen Alexander's presentation, he spoke about a different unit of measure for short runs. And he did not call that in linear meters. He said short runs now are less than 15 minutes. 15 minutes, can you imagine that? So the short run today is 15 minutes. So Amit, we know there is a lot of different kind of printing available, and especially when it comes to packaging, we understand people have a choice, and I think today they are spoiled for choice. But when do they come and start talking to you for a narrow web Flexo, especially for short runs?
Suhas, the metric is not minutes. It's gone down even more. It's in meters and impressions. It's not kgs, it's not minutes. People are now talking about how many impressions,
How many
meters.
impressions, exactly.
So the metric has changed. So when people come to us, typically are people who are going from narrow to mid. and the first choice they have is, should I go digital? And it seems fantastic, magical. It seems you press a button and then everything happens, but believe me, digital takes the same amount of time to set up as a modern flexo. I've seen digital presses warming up for 15 minutes, doing the calibration and all of that, and then print for another 10 minutes, which is the same case for a modern generation flexo. So I'm not saying one is better than the other, but everything has a use case. So if I were to do 500 impressions, yeah, digital. If I were to do 20,000 impressions, mid-web flexo. If I were to do 1 million impressions, CI and all of that. But every horses for courses, right? So everything has a place. I think that is when people talk to us, that's the feedback we get. It's going shorter and shorter and shorter, but Flexo can solve all of that.
Right. You made a point about digital. I'll come back to you around that as well. Thank you for saying that. And one of the things that you noticed, Amit mentioned, is about the new features. And today, our presses are more smarter, as we call them. They are more smarter presses. We spoke about smart people for smart presses. We spoke about skill levels required. And today, we have a lot of smarter presses. And so on, even the so-called large or wide web CI flexo presses are getting more and more smarter. You heard about AI and automation in wide web as well. So Roman, you've been with SOMA and you've seen the world. You've seen Asia Pacific all across. You have managed the Global Technology Center at SOMA, and you've learned so much about CI flexo. In your mind, how would you say the CI flexo or the new CI flexo presses are more operator friendly, therefore are more smarter?
Yes, Suhas, thank you very much for the word. Everybody, thanks for welcoming us in this beautiful event. Namaste, thanks to the organizers. And also colleagues of mine that just brings so much wisdom to us, what we can bring back to our company, that every day from each of you we can always learn. And that's, I believe, is the way how the flexo is evolving. If you imagine rotogravure that has been around a long time, but you don't see so many changes. And when you see flexo, and I'm in SOMA from 2011, that has done a huge step till I would say even 5 years ago. That has been a diamond which is serving to its purpose very nicely. But when we are talking about the changes what are happening in the flexo industry, and not only flexo machines itself, but the industry itself, that's it's a revolution. It's not evolution. And when I should be talking directly about the CI flexo machines, it can be mid-web, it can be wide web, 8-color, 10-color, downstream units. But the technology, especially when we are talking about implementation of the full automation process, and when we are talking about easiness of operation, that's on completely different level. And that allows to serve the market, especially in the challenges what today's world is bringing. And the challenges are definitely short runs. That's what we can agree, all of us over here. Delivering the highest quality, in many aspects better than gravure quality. And when we have got this technology matured, I would say, already, then we are talking about the reducing downtimes. We are talking about the improving the speed of the job changeovers. And we are talking about eliminating human mistakes, eliminating human faults. And when you just wrap it up, we are all talking about the full automation of the process and standardization. And that is what is happening within the last few years. That you always got the automatic wash-up systems, automatic viscosity systems. you got the automatic job changeovers in terms of the flying splice on the unwinder, rewinder. But what's really new and what I consider as the most important is really the time for the job changeovers. It got now in terms of the minutes, thanks to the fully automated systems, which starts from the automatic plate mounting, continues through the automatic features for the impression and register setting inside the printing press with 0 meters waste, and we are talking really about minutes. And then we are talking about the print efficiency when it comes down to the print stability. So even the most difficult jobs, you are able to exceed the rotogravure speed. You are able to print 500, 600 meters a minute. The jobs what you could not even imagine that you can. And the job changeovers, fully automated systems, which saves you the material, time, waste. But then it comes also to the color matching. We were discussing the EGI. We're discussing the expanded gamut, ECG. EGI is another company. That expanded gamut, that is one way. And the second way is just to find a smart way how to match the colors. I know that it does not, it's not related directly to the printing press itself, but it is directly connected to the time and waste what you need for the job changeovers. And that's are the solutions which are coming to the market, and that's something what is bringing the Flexo just much closer to the people. And I'm really glad to be sitting here in India, because you are really, truly exceptional country within the whole Asia. And in terms of the growth, Flexo growth,
Thank you.
in terms of the whole world. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you. Very well said. You mentioned the word automation. I know in the Western world, automation means a fear of loss of jobs. In the Asia Pacific, it actually means making sure that there are no errors, right? We have a different connotation to that. And that's exactly what you mentioned, reducing human errors by automation. And with that, I just want to come to Richard. Richard here is from Flint. He's got global working experience in wide web flexo and flexographic printing, hands-on technical application expertise in flexo with solvent-based inks, with UV inks, comes from Flint. And I just want you to share, Richard, a global perspective on how the technology is moving towards flexo and how is flexo adapting to the different market segments.
Thank you very much, Suhas, and thank you everybody for inviting me to this event. So the way I was going to introduce this, we talked about misconceptions, and we talked about the drying and ink behavior changing dramatically the wider the width you go. So from an ink point of view, we start with a dry component. We put it into a solvent. This solvent is very, very critical in what we do, because we create a liquid ink. The liquid ink has then got to go from an analogs to a plate via onto substrate. The substrate can change from paper to polythene to polyester, you name it. It's got to be surface print, reverse print, it's got to be laminatable, it's got to stick first and foremost. That's the easy bit. We then look at the designs. So the designs have to be, we have to be able to print a full tone, we have to print half tone, we have to print vignettes. We have to create this image. We have to create this image, though, on a wide web press with a repeat that could go up to 1 meter. We've got to do it at 600 meters a minute. And then we've got to be competitive. So competitive means as little ink as possible going onto the fill and still creating this vibrant color. On top of that, we need some whites to give you the opacity. And you, as a printer, wants to be able to compete with gravure. And I can tell you now that what we're seeing in Europe is that possibility happening. We can compete with gravure. We have the technology, but it's all about collaborating with everybody. So we can provide the ink, but we're working with these gentlemen that creates the overall image that will enable us to compete with gravure going forward. I thought I'd keep it nice, short and sweet for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard. Yeah. So one of the things you mentioned is about the choice of the analoxes, right? And we have Tinku here representing Sandon, and Sandon has been very successfully making analoxes for the entire flexographic industry and coating industry as well. Tinku has worked the market both in narrow web, mid web, and wide web as well. So Tinku, just a question to you is, when a customer is choosing, I know that there are several jobs which move from narrow web to wide web, and sometimes the converters have to match those colors. And then you are left at their mercy to give them analogs that can make sure that they are happy with. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, thanks, Swasti. Thanks, everyone, for meeting post-lunch. So you are right that people are converting from narrow to mid and mid to wide, and we have to match the standard. But before selecting any process or any width, we need to understand that profitability is must, and here we need to maintain consistency. And while selecting analogs, we need to take care of the specs and also how we maintain the analogs. While selecting the specs, we need to understand what type of inks we are using. Might be in narrow we were using UV base, which are 100% solid. And in wide web, these are solvent based inks, which are like 30 to 35% solid content. So we need to tweak our specs according to it. Secondly, instead of like using some fancy specs, we need to understand our specs very carefully. There should be some like perfect balance of your line count to volume. It will help you to transfer exact amount of or like desirable amount of ink. It will help you to avoid some like problems like installation, excess ink, and consistent ink across the width. So these are like very critical. And then again, to maintain consistency in your whole process, maintenance of your analogs is very vital. You have to maintain the analogs all the clean. Like if your analogs are dirty, you are compromising with their specs. Now if the analogs are dirty, they are with reduced volume, which is like in compromised volume, and you will not repeat your results. And when you are not repeating your results, you are not in consistency, and then you are compromising your profitability. Right. Then again, when you are going from narrow to wide, handling of analogs is very important. The process of handling wide web analogs, and especially in sleeve, it demands that these sleeves should be stored with spot from all the way, that the sleeve, they should not lose their concentricities. If they lose, then there will be like, non-uniform ink transfer everywhere. So here, first, the specs should be very carefully selected. Instead of going any fancy or high, instead of just going with numbers, the specs of analogs, they should be like by considering your substrate and your desired optical density and what type of inks you are having. Because inks, analogs are a tooling, and substrate and inks, they are variables.
Sure.
So here you need to take care.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tinku. And as you must know, and if people who are new to Flexo or are into Flexo, you already know the analogs is the heart of a Flexo press. So the cleaner it is, it generates more better impression. Yesterday, Mr. Ghoshal mentioned a very key word, and he mentioned hyper-localization. And that was a word I caught on yesterday. You mentioned that, sir. Thank you so much. And I want to come back to that, talking to our converters, because converters in the end are the heroes who are actually delivering to you, the print buyers, right? And when we talk about hyper-localization, we spoke about short runs, but hyper-localization means also the market that you're serving, right? So I want to come back to you, because you as converters, Vinay and Rajubhai, your thoughts on how are you positioning yourself in the market vis-a-vis your business model, because I understand that your business models are very different to each other. So your thoughts on that, Vinay.
See, I think last 2 days we have been talking about the possibilities in Flexo, the profitability part of it. I would say most of the people in this room are aware of Flexo to the P. They know everything about it. Many of them are trying to learn about it. But see, Flexo is equally a very good process, but equally a very complicated process, or rather I would say dependent on strong variables which one has to do right. Yeah. So I would say the topic what we are into, I mean, wider and wiser for any businessman out here, I think the printers, I would say, if your house, I said it earlier also, in your house, the most important, like Preeti said just some time back, the most important machine in your premises is people. So I would rather say, get your 4 M's right. Yeah, you have to get your man right. You have to get your machine right. Most of the converters in this growing Indian scenario have a complicated machine structures. You have got machines which are got brand new, some 10 years old, some 15 years old. So get your machines right, get your training around the people right for Flexo, because Flexo without training is a difficult task. Yeah, a sincere opinion, I have seen that, because most of the Flexo new things what have come here in India been part of it. So I would say people training is equal to profit. Yeah, machine in good shape is equal to profit. Yeah, get your material selection as per what your business needs are. Involve your supplier earlier, the material supplier. Get your machine guys in place. Get your variable partners in Flexo. Most important, one of the key thing is you have a lot of ink people, lot of analog sleeve, machine guys here. Unless you have good partnerships with each other, in whichever domain you want to grow, it's difficult to get pass through this competitive age. You have to have early partner involvement in order to reach to profitability stage.
Right. Okay, thank you. I think what you're speaking about is operational excellence. And when it comes to profitability, I think that's a key part in your operations, which is profitability. Yeah. We were also speaking about the market segment as well. So Raju bhai, coming to you as also a converter, I know you are suffering from a sore throat, but if you can share a few words on what decisions you make on profitability.
I wholeheartedly agree with Vinay sir, because we are into the same boat. Whatever he has said is 100% true.
Yeah.
So I will just add to that choose your market wisely and choose your team very wisely. Give them a good training and stick to the quality. Quality work will take you everywhere, and quality will speak for you. And flexography printing is one such technology where you can achieve wonderful and fantastic quality. Whatever you want to create or whatever you want to print, you can 100% achieve in that. And by that thought and by that system of making quality every time will definitely give you a wider profits. So flexography is for everybody and flexography is for profitability.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raju bhai. So I think we spoke about the right technology fit, trying to understand where Flexo comes in, also the market positioning. I know there are different business models that you have. I know there are different business models that even narrow web Flexo printers have, because they are all different business segments. The key to profitability or the drivers for profitability, as Vinay said, and also as Raju bhai said, was to get your house in order. And I think getting your house in order needs operational excellence. And that comes not just with experience, but also with discipline. And when we speak about discipline, we spoke about people as well. And that's where I want to come back to. We spoke about people in the last full day yesterday and even today. The key things that came out was people, skill, talent, retaining talent, and holding on to your people and training them, right? And I think somebody mentioned here in the audience that if you don't train them, they will go. If you train them, they will go anyway. So you might as well make sure that you train them while they are there with you, right? And we'll come to that as well later on. So Roman, I just wanted to come back to you with the automation features that you have now on the new CI flexo presses. And you mentioned automation in mounting and also with the new features. What does skill enhancement mean to you, and how simple can it be for a person to man a CI flexo press?
That belongs actually to the misconception question. That when the people, the newcomers into flexo, imagine the printing machine, how complex process it is. It comes automatically with the idea how difficult operating of the machine is. But actually, if you come to our factory, if you have seen the operating of the machine operated by, nothing against Peter, by our marketing manager, then that actually is a proof of the simplicity. That if you imagine the plate mounting, just pressing one button, impression and register setting, pressing one button, complete printing press supervision, printing reports, complete reports from the efficiency, uptimes, downtimes, consumption of the electricity. And it just comes hands in hands with the implementation of the full automation. So there is no difference if the printing press is small. There is no difference if it is 10 colored, long print repeat. All the systems are implemented through the whole printing process to simplify the process and to make the printing the most accessible. And nowadays, you don't need like the real skilled printer. Okay, you need really skilled supervisor into the factory. But operating of the printing press gets just much more simple than it was 5 years ago, 3 years ago. And it's always evolving. But that's the point of view as we are talking to the printers all across Asia. I think more relevant is to ask to our customers who can confirm.
Absolutely.
As well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Roman. And I think those are the key points that we wanted to also cover. You can't leave this room without discussing the last point we've shown here, which is sustainability. And this is, it's not just about being sustainable and offering sustainability products, but also being sustainable in your business as well, right? And with that, I wanted to come to you, Richard. You're one of the key providers of ink, which is a key material in the raw material that goes into any converter. From a sustainability perspective, what are things that you think you're working on, especially for the flexo industry? If you can share a few points. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's correct. So, as you're probably well aware, with the up-and-coming PPWR and Reciclass statements coming out, it looks as though, well, it's definitely going to happen. Nitrocellulose, which is our main carrier for the ink, from 2030 will be taxable or banned, you know. So to that end, we're trying to future-proof, looking at coming away from nitrocellulose-based inks and looking at alternative inks and chemistry. Still giving the same print quality, same lamination bond strengths, same gloss, same dots, but it's got to be nitrocellulose free. The reason behind that is that when the finished product goes through the mechanical recycling process, if the packaging contains nitrocellulose-based inks, we get a very, very dirty recyclate, which then means that when it goes back into the recycled material, this recycled material is very, very dirty and very, very difficult to print on. We even see gel formations, all sorts of things that we don't want in the flexographic industry. Switching away from NC enables us to produce a recyclate of a better quality, which then means that we can put more of the recyclate back into the material, which also gives a cleaner material, a better surface, a better overall quality, which then means that it's an advantage to yourselves and to ourselves, because the more recyclate that goes into your material, the fact that is that you won't be taxed on it. The less tax you'd have to pay for it. So yeah, it's down to the PPWR and Recyclers that we are coming away from nitrocellulose, and all ink companies are looking at this, but we are in. We're now at stages whereby we're actually putting this into the marketplace. with really good effects, with really good results against the standard products that are out there in the marketplace currently. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Richard. I know we got 1 minute left, and we need to summarize and close this discussion. So I think if you want to take away some takeaways from this discussion, and you're free to connect to all of them during the tea break and later in the evening as well. And as I said, the wealth of information here is so high, I'm overwhelmed. I didn't even want to step up to that ladder there on the stage myself, because I'm just a servant of the industry. But if you look at the checklist today, these are key things that we took away. I think your width must match your SKU profile. Very right, Mr. Goshal. You mentioned about that. Very, very true. The application fit definitely is based upon what your market is, what your volume is, and I think what your market segment is, and the automation that goes along with it, and the people that are there. And therefore, I think in segmentation, Flexo will compete where it is strong and not everywhere. So I just want to come back to that lovely picture that we had about Ikigai, and I wanted to close with this. But where is the Ikigai for us here in Flexo? And I think if you look at the Ikigai of packaging print, we have offset, and in offset, we covered various markets. And then you also have the gravure print process, and I think there's a little bit of overlap between offset and gravure with paper products. We know, I'm using that word, but it's an application segment that we talk about, and that's where offset and gravure overlap. But when you look at the other print process, which is digital, I think digital in our country, especially in packaging, started off with mock-ups. We started doing mock-ups. It was not really short runs, but we started doing mock-ups, which could not be made on offset or gravure, right? And that's where the overlap is, and that's where digital is. And then came along the growth of Flexo from narrow web, mid web, and wide web, and you can see there is an overlap there as well. And when it comes to runs, Flexo goes from short to medium and long runs. And long runs, of course, we know gravure is a no-brainer. You want to do it on that. But Flexo is especially for short and medium. Whether you choose inline or CI, it's up to you. But the real thing is talking about digital and Flexo, which is what is short run. And that's where, ladies and gentlemen, is the Ikigai of packaging print. There is no place where each print process is not there. They are all there. They're complementing each other. Wow. Right? So, again, find your Ikigai, find your Flexo. The wider you become, you have to get wiser. As Vinay explained, Rajubai said, get your house in order, and then you become more wiser as well. So I'll come back to Jaipur and this hopscotch, saying the last sentence, "Sachai aur mehnat ka mol nahi hai." It's a very local saying. It means there is no price for hard work and truth. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, and thank you so much for your time. Vinay, Amit, Robin, Tinku, Richard, and Rajubai. And thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. And as they say in Jaipur, Ram Ram Sa. Thank you.
Ram Ram Sa, Ram Ram Sa. Thank you so